Well, hello everybody. We are live, and this is the Cool Wellness Cafe. This Wednesday, this wonderful Wednesday, I believe it's the 20th. Is that not correct? Of January. A lot going on for everybody. I'm here with Lisa Kay and Kristen. Ariel is floating around somewhere in cyberspace, but she's here, and we just want to say hello. And anybody that comes on, you come on and join in conversation. This is the Cool Wellness Cafe. This is just casual conversation. I was in a hurry, so I'm back in my office structure, but next week I'll be somewhere a little cooler. But it's just a time for us to come together and just have some authentic, organic conversation about life, wellness, recovery, and just sort of hang out for a little bit. We generally roll about 45 minutes per, but because it's such a special day for the nation, we're going to shut it down a little early so everybody can do the things they need to do to appreciate and participate. So with that said, no further ado, Kristen, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. I am well this morning. As I was sharing with you all before we got on air, I'm being a little extra today. And I own it and I admit it. I'm being extra. I have a cup with a K on it, not just for Kristen, but for Kamala. I have pearls on my wrist. My girls have pearls around their neck. And we're just celebrating today. We're celebrating faces that look like ours, faces that don't look like ours, faces that look like the nation. And so we're just celebrating.
Celebrate good. Oh,
Yeah.
Lisa K, turn it over to you. Bring it your way. How you doing this morning, Lisa? And what we gonna check in about?
Oh, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is a special day in our nation today, and I know everybody's kind of got that going on in their hearts and minds today as we watch something transition out, the old transition out and the new transition in. And I'm like Kristen today, I don't actually have pearls. I do have some K stuff. I didn't think about getting that out, but I do have my Chucks on, and I love wearing Chucks. And I love to know that now I can get by with wearing a suit with Chucks on. So I love that. So yeah, it's exciting. So today, we're just sitting around chatting with friends and family and loved ones, and hopefully today will be a day of love and healing. And so today's a big transition spirit going on in our nation right now, and I think in all of our hearts and minds, we're all thinking about transition. And so I kind of wanted to throw out in our chats today about just the transition, what it means for us in our recovery today, how we're feeling today in our own spirits about transition. What's our responsibility in transition? Just ideas that come to mind around transition, movement, passage, just change in general. So that's kind of where my heart and mind was going this morning, Aaron.
All right, then we can chop it up. I first want to say Thurman Hill has come on and said hello. Hey, Thurman Hill, how are you? And welcome to the conversation, and feel free to join. And we have way down yonder, we have Miss Kim Porter. Kim, what's happening with you this morning, buddy?
Hey, how's everybody doing? It's good to be here. Been kind of busy this morning. We got the inauguration getting ready to start, so people are giving me a call.
Yeah, we got that started, Kim, and we decided we're going to be out of here by 11:30, so everybody can, enjoy and participate as we choose to. So it's good to see you down there, Kim. Always good to see you.
It's good to see you guys.
Lisa, as you sort of prompted us and gave us a jump start, for me, transition has so much to do with where I find myself on the journey. This is, again, me, one man, one vote, but it's where I find myself on the journey. And there have been times when I have needed to transition to move some things in another direction and didn't. And I think that came from a lack of maturity at that time in life, and didn't understand that it was time to transition, whether it was out of a relationship, whether it was into a new career. But as time has come on, and to understand where I want to take life, where I want life to be for me, I understand transition so much better. It's more easy for me now and in life to transition, to move in another direction, because I now attach all transition for me to where I want to be, in life. And I have to be able to gauge, is where I am right now, is this taking me where I want to be? And if that answer is yes, then I try to figure out a way to make it work. But if that answer is no, then I begin to look at, how do I transition? How do I move from here to where I'm trying to go? So that's for me. The first part is where I find myself on the journey. And now sometimes for me also, right, transition is pressed upon me. Right. If you don't transition, you ain't going to make it through this. And so that's where maturity also kicks in, to realize I've gone through some of this stuff before. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So it's time for me to transition, to get from this point to the next point. So I'm seeing some heads nod. That's where I'm at. What you think?
I think it's interesting, Aaron, that you said how transition is forced upon you. I'm at a place in life where, as I've shared with some of you all, my grandmother is transitioning in life, and possibly out of this realm. And by her transition happening, it's forcing some of us within the family to transition. It's forced upon us because we have to transition our mindsets of the reality of, she's okay with her transition. We have to change our standpoints and be okay with it as well. So for some of us, it's forced upon us, but for others of us within our family, we have already transitioned to that next phase along with her progression. So I think it's interesting of how you put it. Sometimes it's forced upon you. And I think the force is necessary at times in life, that it's forced upon you. I think as long as you don't continue to resist the transition.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kristen. The resistance sometimes makes the transition tough. Also, for me, ladies, I think, and Thurman, I think that when we resist transition, I've just come to find out on my years in the planet that there are opportunities that we have. And we don't always get the same opportunity. I believe that God allows the universe to give us opportunities, but we don't always get the same opportunity. And sometimes when we're resistant to the transition, to move from A to B or from A to C, if we don't move in time, if we don't transition in time, that particular opportunity is gone and may never come again. Now, we'll always get another opportunity at something, but that particular opportunity, we've seen it in careers. We've seen it just in so many different arenas of our lives. And so I'm with you on that, Kristen. So we got to know when, or as Kenny Rogers say, right, we got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And so we've got to be able to understand it. And I think that comes with maturity. That comes with learning life's lessons, life not just happening, but teaching us things that we get to use later on, and not be afraid of transition. Not be afraid of that realm of transition, as you're talking about your grandmother, whether it's transitioning from one life realm to another, one city to another, one relationship to another, one house to another, one job, whatever it is, to not fear. Lisa, you touched on something last week that really impacted me, is that when we look at the dark, we're not often afraid of the dark, we're afraid of what's in it. And many times transition, the resistance is the unknown. And because of that, we don't move. And I just firmly believe if we don't move, if we stand still, we're going backwards. Mm-hmm. What you think?
Exactly, Aaron. And I like the phrase you also used a second ago. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Like the old country Kenny Rogers told us. I think with my personal life right now, I share this all the time in my platforms with PRN around my codependency, my own family disease of addiction, as well as the codependency disease that I have currently going on in my life and have for many years. My transition, even in my recovery with that, where I am in 2021 is I believe, I'm holding on to that. I really believe that I have learned now it's time to fold them. And I have held on to them way too long. So I've been given the opportunity the last week or even the last couple of days to be able to practice that transition. And I wasn't alone. Of course, I wasn't alone. My higher power was with me, and I depended on that. But I also had some good friends with me as well that I called and were a part of that with me. But I got to exercise that. And I think that's so important as we think about our own transitions, whatever that is. I'm just loud and out loud about mine because that's just where I am in my life. Some of us aren't yet, but you know where you are. But where are we with, and I want to throw that out there, can we practice it? Can we put it to the test in our transition so we don't get complacent in that that transition, that we say, oh, we're transitioning into this or that. I believe that we can give that even a lot of lip service. You said something even before we came on. Kristen was sharing some beautiful, beautiful things from her grandmother. And it's just been placed on your heart to maybe even do something around, because you've been hearing so much of us say things about where we get some of our spirit from. Kristen gives credit so much about a lot of the things that she feels and believes to grandparents, and I do as well. So as we do that, we can talk about it a lot, but where do we put feet to our transition? And so I think that for me, I've been given the opportunity this week to start doing that. It was very, very hard, but it was very, very necessary. And so I think as we continue to push on in our transition, whatever that is for us, I think we will be given opportunities to share or put feet to our mouth, to practice and get stronger in it. So what are your thoughts about that?
For me, go ahead, Kristen, because you look like you had, go ahead.
I think it was funny that we keep going back to the Kenny Rogers song, "Know When to Hold 'Em, Know When to Fold 'Em." I think it's interesting. That song has been a part of my life for many years growing up in the country. I mean, it's a mantra, for some people, but know when to hold them, know when to fold them. But I tend to remember that when you're folding, you're still playing. You haven't walked away yet, right? So the next part he says, know when to walk away, right?
That's right.
But if you're folding, you're still in the game. So there's something else, there's a new hand being dealt to you the next go around, right? Mm-hmm. So we always have that opportunity for the next hand. Now, when you're walking away, and you're saying, I'm done, you got to be done. You're not picking them back up, as so many people walk away and then walk back, right? But you need to know when to walk away when you're still in the game. There's a big difference there. And when you're transitioning out of the game, knowing what that transition means when you're walking away. Are you walking away from everything? Are you walking away with a gain? Are you walking away with a sense of dignity still? And so I think we can apply that to so many areas of our life. I know some situations that I've had to just fold and say, okay, I'm gonna wait for my next hand to be dealt, but I'm not completely done with this arena. So I love that we have tied that in, because I think that has been, a part of many of our lives, whether you're a country music lover or not, that song and what each step of that song means in your life.
Who knew when we woke up this morning with everything going on that Kenny Rogers would dominate our conversation about recovery and wellness? But it's absolutely poignant, right? It is absolutely on point. And to take this further, in reality, the only hand you can play is yours. And you've got to play that hand that's been dealt to you. You've got to make a way to you have to be able to figure it out. And sometimes in this thing, we play this hand for the next hand, right? We play this hand for the next hand, and then sometimes we got to go for broke. And there have been times in life where I've gone for broke, and some I've won and some I've lost, but I've always been able to survive and to go into the next thing, which helps with transition. Not being afraid of transition, because looking back at all the past hands, I've either lost or I've won, but I've survived to play again. And so I like this. Kenny, way to go, Kenny. But yeah, you can only play the hand that you've been dealt. And so we get to understand, how do I learn to be masterful at this thing? How do I get to learn the things I need to learn to play this well, and to know that I've been in the game so long, whether I win or whether I lose, I can do this, right? And so transition means that I can do something different and connect it to the last thing, right? Because I transition, I don't have to disconnect it. I might leave the worst of whatever happened or what I'm transitioning from behind, but I also get to take the best of. I might look at how you played a hand, and the next time I play, say, whoa, this is really how you play this hand. So it's just so much in transition for us, and we don't have to be afraid of the next thing as long as it's the next best thing.
Ooh.
Right. And I think it's worth saying that you sat down to play the game. Even if you just walked away from another, you can sit at another table and learn to play another game, or not learn to play another game, but you've learned that you're not good at it, or you are. Just the point that you sat down at the table speaks volume to where you have transition in your confidence level or your ability to be open to learning.
You hit something there, Kristen, that resonates with my life personally, right? That and there's another table out there, right? But I also get to learn what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and to learn that lesson, and then to be able to figure out, not only am I good at this, I'm passionate at this. And it flips. I can be passionate at something that I'm not really good at. I love shooting pool. I get beat a lot. I love playing chess. I lose a lot, but they're passions. So I keep trying, because one day I'm gonna beat somebody at one of them. But I absolutely simply endure the process. I enjoy the strategy. I just love setting up a chessboard and setting up a pool table. I just enjoy it. My point is, there's a passion that I'm not really good at. There are some other things that I'm really good at. I have learned that I'm able to engage my passion because it's my passion, but I'm also able to go into the things that I'm good at and be good at that, feel good about myself, so that when I do lose at pool or chess, because I have found something I'm good at, it ain't that deep, right? I can enjoy the journey. I can enjoy a good pool game, talk a lot of ish while I'm doing it, and just enjoy the time, knowing that when I leave here, there is something that I'm good at that can build me up. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me.
Yeah, I like that. We have a Cindy just said, Aaron, if you can, well, I don't know, you can't slide it over there, but in recovery, she said, I had to change my players to get a different hand.
Hey,
Whoa.
Toast to you, Cindy.
Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way to go, Cindy. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that true? So many times, just when I read that, my mind started flooding back to so many, just this past year, our players changed, right? In so many different areas of our lives and in transition. So you're absolutely right. The players had to change, to actually get that different hand that you needed at that different time in your life. I love that. Thank you,
Cindy, you just won that hand.
Yeah, I love that too, Cindy. I think of so many things that you change. You can change players. You can change the game all the way around. You may have started out playing one game, it had been blackjack, but now I'm over here and I'm playing Texas Hold'em. So you can change many things in the dynamic. So I love that, Cindy. Thanks for that piece.
And I want to say hi to Roberta, our constant and consistent. Hey, Roberta, welcome all the way from New York. Yeah. Kim, what do you think about transition? Because you've made a few. You started this thing out in Seattle, and here you are in North Carolina. transition for you? What does that look like, Kim, especially concerning your wellness and your recovery?
Well, yeah, I did transition here. I actually born and raised in Seattle, Washington, moved to Chicago, ended up in California, and now I'm here in Charlotte, and I'm absolutely loving it. But when I think of transition, for me currently, is this pandemic that we're going through. I never thought I'd see something like this where I wasn't going in to work every day. So having a new normal is like a transition to me. All of us are experiencing some type of transition due to this pandemic because our lives have changed. I mean, we are just in a situation where it's out of our control. We cannot control what is going on. The only thing we can do is try and stay safe, social distancing, and just worrying and doing self-care for ourselves. So for me, in the beginning, I thought, okay, we're out in March. We'll be back. This is just a couple of months. We'll be back to work. And then it didn't happen. And so the little vacation was over. So I had to change my whole life and move it into a totally new direction and know what I needed to do daily to stay employed, just be safe. And it's just been a transition for me to just be in this situation. I'm looking forward to transitioning into a new normal that's better than what we have. At least being able to go out and still wear our masks. I know those things will go on for a while, but just being able to go out, go to the movies, go to a game and socialize, be around people, give out some hugs, show some love. So that's where I'm at.
And it has been a big transition for us, hasn't it, Kim? It's been a absolute wonderful transition, but what we've proven, and it's evidenced by the four of us being on this screen, we made the transition. We made the transition. I wanted to say earlier while I was thinking about it, I got to do that. The gray hairs, they assassinate my thoughts. And that is that we get to, and I say this often, I learned this from John Thompson at Georgetown, we play the game the way we practice. It's the small, tedious things that help create the habits, right? If I won't transition in small stuff, if I'm going to be adamant about having my way and not shifting, not changing, not agreeing, not compromising the small things, I won't do it in the large things in life. And many times the compromise is with ourselves. To be able to have that relationship with ourselves where we're saying, this is better, let's try this. Well, if we do this, can I still have that? No, you can't have that, but we can do this. It's that conversation with ourselves, and we have to be able to practice when nobody else is watching. It's a small thing, and y'all know me well enough to know I come up with these things, but I struggle with people who refuse to change their furniture around in their house. I struggle with that because why does it have to be the same for 50 years, right? I mean, so if you won't do that, I just can't see you compromising or making transitions outside of your house because you won't transition simple things, right? The blind, those drapes have been up for 50 years, y'all. We have to be able.
I promise I thought they were going to say you struggle with people won't change their pew in church.
Yeah, same thing, same principle, same principle. Same principle. And so when we leave the house, we're so used to not transitioning anything, we simply won't. And I believe, rob ourselves of some good stuff that's out there that is conducive to our wellness, that is fruitful for us simply because we don't want to transition.
I love it, Aaron. I love it. I promise you, my mind went to the church pew. Because that's one of the things that I've heard in life, you get to, I don't want to pick on any one denomination, but certain churches you go into, you have the elders, the older members of the church, and they sit on this certain pew. And if you want to shake it up, go sit in their seat and see what happens. I mean, you will completely change a whole mindset and a lifestyle. But I also want to piggyback off of what you said. Like, I feel like if you change that seat at times, you may be open to hear things that you didn't hear before, because before I may have been distracted by the person that was sitting in front of me on that fourth pew every Sunday, but maybe if I move across the church, I might be able to hear better because I'm not distracted. So I like that. And, sometimes you just got to shake it up. You got to shake yourself up as well as other people. Sometimes I might sit in that elder's seat just to see if she can still hear the word, or is she going to be mad the whole service thinking about me sitting in her seat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the small things. Lisa, you look like you wanted to chime in real quick.
Yeah, the view needs to change sometimes, right? So just as simple as just the thinking about changing pews, the whole view changes. The pulpit looks different, the pastor looks different, the choir looks different, the flowers even look different when you just change. So when you think about your life and your transitions, the people around you, just thinking about that, just shifting a little bit, shaking it up a little bit can really make a difference, can really inspire you. Can we inspire ourselves? Absolutely. Just doing something just that simple, just switching pews.
Like a different way to work. I mean, just small things, right?
Yes.
I've literally have driven and I've had people in the car say, "You're going the wrong way." No, there are different ways to get there. This is not the wrong way. There are different ways I know. There are different ways to get there. I really did mean you, Kristen. There are different ways to get there. This has been good conversation. I just want to thank Kenny Rogers for considering our wellness and recovery when he made the song.
Yes.
It's something about those old country songs. If you just really listen to it, you can apply it to your life.
That's right.
Hey, there's a lot of recovery and wellness in music. Lisa K, is 11:28, and I know today we're all on a schedule. Any last thoughts from everybody? Before we do this, I just want to say, when we talk about the pews, Kristen, Roberta said, "I like being in the front pew myself."
Well, Roberta, next time I'm going to sit right in your seat.
Yeah. This is a story though, for real quickly. I want to give you this. I visited a church a few years ago here, and I went in the church, and there was a gentleman in a wheelchair sitting in front of a pew, right? So he was wheelchair bound. I sat in a pew right next to him. This man, who was not leaving the wheelchair, turned to me and said, "Son, that's my seat." Dude, you can't even get out the wheelchair to sit here. He literally was protecting that seat, but he couldn't sit in it. I just want to throw that out there. That's just okay. I'm done.
Yep, that's sometimes, Aaron, sometimes that's us in life. We want to still claim that seat, even utilize it. We still want to claim that seat. That's
right. Speaking of some of the things we learned, Mama's Birdie, who transitioned last year, she was 92. We'll talk about her one day. She was a matriarch and an elder when I lived in Oakland, California. Wonderful woman. She once told me about guys who will not allow their spouses or their partners to grow. She said that these guys was like the rooster. They didn't want the hen, but they didn't want anybody else to have the hen. She used to always tell me that. And this guy was the same about his seat. And sometimes we're the same, right? We don't want this, but we don't want you to have it either. And that sometimes conveys to our wellness and recovery. I'm not going to put the work in, but I'm going to keep you from putting the work in also. Anyway, I'm really done for real. What you got, Lisa?
Well, what I got is I think this was a great conversation. I think that all of us are excited about today and what we've seen so far in our nation this morning, and are looking for great things ahead. I know I am. I think that as we talk about, even as I'm listening to you guys share and talk, I'm still, the whole backdrop for me today is what's going on in our nation. And so I think that today, as we watch and listen, I hope we will go in with transition in a positive way on our minds and hearts, being open, no matter what side you sat in. Today's a new day, and it's time to embrace the pearls, so to speak, and see what's ahead. Put the chucks on and change pews. Let's see what the chucks, if I mean, I'm telling you, when I put mine on, I do see the world differently. So I am with her on that 100%. So I will have my Chucks on as I watch intently today and plan on getting some more in probably every color in the rainbow. So, because I think I now have permission to wear them more often. So at least I'm claiming that. But I think today is an exciting day. And as we watch and pray for our nation, but also consider our own transitions and grab strength. And let's lock arms and hearts today. And let's truly do our part to be coming together as one heart, especially in our recovery family, because we do see the world a little differently, don't we?
Yeah,
And
we
so,
do.
We do. So on our platforms from here on out this week, I hope we'll see each other in a different light and support and love each other. But here's the Kenny Rogers too. Hey,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Kenny. So Kim Porter, I love you. Kristen, much love to you. Lisa K, much love to you. Ariel, I know you're out there in cyberspace. We love you. And Roberta and Cindy and Thurman, thank you for hanging. Please share. Great conversation. Let's move forward. Have a great day. Here's to the pearls and the chucks. And let's be optimistic, right? Let's be optimistic and not just see change. Let's be a part of the change that we want to see. We love you. Talk to you next week.